Hi you guys, today I'm going to share with you this recipe for gluten-free brown Irish soda bread. Now I have made soda bread before, gluten-free, but it is just using my regular bread flour blend and not a whole grain version. And they make something such as brown Irish soda bread using whole wheat flour. And you know, we can't have whole wheat flour, so I really wanted to try my multigrain flour blend with this. And let me just say, this trumps the white gluten-free Irish soda bread. It has a nutty taste to it. It's got a totally different texture, a little more wholesome and toothsome, and it just is absolutely incredible. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. This bread is beyond easy to make. It comes together in literally like 15 minutes. So in a large bowl, I have 490 grams or 3.5 cups of Kim's multigrain bread flour blend. And to that, I am adding 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm just mixing that through with a large spoon. You can also do this with a whisk if you'd rather. I just make sure that I get it well mixed if I'm using just a spoon. And then I'm going to add to that 2 tablespoons, which is 28 grams of butter that is rather cold. And I'm just breaking that up with my fingers because I'm going to get it in there with my fingers and kind of cut the butter into the flour mixture, just like you would if you were making biscuits or something like that. But you want to make sure that it's cut in pretty finely so you're left with like a breadcrumb-ish consistency, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. You want to definitely feel around. I feel the hands are the best tool for this because then you can feel, and you can see here, you can hardly see any of the butter chunks because they're so finely in there. So now to this, we are going to add 600 milliliters of buttermilk, and that is about 2.5 cups. Depending on where you are in the world, you may not be able to access whole fat buttermilk, which is what I am using, the preferred choice. I have a substitute. You can make your own. If you use a low fat version, you may have to add a little less because whole fat buttermilk is very thick. So I would start with like 2 cups, which is 480 milliliters, and go from there. So now we're just getting our hands in and mixing it up, and it is a very wet dough to start. And I make this overly wet because, as with most gluten-free flours, and especially a multigrain flour, they have the tendency to soak up more of the liquids. And that's why a lot of times people that make gluten-free foods or do any kind of gluten-free baking will say that their stuff comes out too dry. And that's why, because they don't add enough liquid. So I always tend to go a little over with the liquid because I know it's going to be soaked up by those gluten-free flours. So now I'm just plopping it onto a parchment paper, little piece of parchment paper inside my cast iron skillet. And I'm flattening it and putting it into a round that's, I don't know, this is about like maybe 8 inches or so. And it's about, I don't know, maybe 2 inches thick, give or take. And now we'll go ahead and make the cross. This is known as blessing the bread in Ireland, supposedly. But you're just going to take your knife and cut a pretty deep cross into the center. And then I'm taking just a little bit of that leftover buttermilk that's in my little jug here, and I'm brushing it over top because I'm going to add just a handful or so of oatmeal, of any kind of oats that you have that are gluten-free, and these are Purity Protocol oats. I will leave a link below for where I found them and what their brand is. Now, obviously, if you can't tolerate oats, just leave those off. And I'm going to get this into a 425 degree oven for 15 minutes Turn it down to 400 after that and let it bake for a continued 25 to 30 minutes or until it looks like this. It is nice and split open. It's crusty. If you give it a tap on the bottom, it's going to sound hollow. And now I'm doing something that I would never ever recommend, but I couldn't wait to show you guys how wonderful this bread was. And I'm cutting into my bread while it is still fairly warm. And like I said, I would never ever do that because I know how much it really will compress the bread and cause it to be very gummy. So if you can, please wait. But I didn't wait. And let me just tell you, this bread anyway is still the bomb. It is so good, you guys. So if you're looking for a little bit of a different type of bread that's more wholesome, it's more whole grain and has more of a nutty flavor and a toothsome texture, this is the bread you want. You can make this for dinner tonight. It will take you no time and it's the bomb, you guys. So I hope you get a chance to make it and enjoy.